Alright, this video is going to be almost entirely about autism. But not just autism, high-functioning autism, and many of the things that go along with that, many of the other diagnoses that are commonly associated with autism. Things like obsessive-compulsive disorder, Tourette syndrome, social anxiety disorder, things of that nature. I'm going to have to pause it in a minute. Alright, so most of the things that are commonly associated with autism, I was diagnosed with before I was diagnosed with autism. But also, a lot of people have things that are commonly associated with autism that are in the dictionary definition, like being unreasonable or being violent. For that one, I'm going to touch base on social anxiety disorders. A lot of people in the United States, they like to shun things that are different, punish these people for being different, tell them you have to be like everyone else. If you're not like everyone else, then you are ostracized, you're picked on more than others, you're teased more than others. You're not allowed to take part in the things that other people take part in because people are ashamed to be around you, because they get ostracized for being around you. A lot of people, when they meet somebody who's autistic, they want to say, well, you're not autistic. I have a cousin who's autistic, or I have a nephew who's autistic, and they're what's considered low-functioning autistic. A lot of people who can't speak are considered low-functioning, but also they're highly intelligent. I have a intelligence quotient of 172. Statistically speaking, there's 204 people in the United States as intelligent as me. I don't believe that's true, though. There are a lot of people who are considered low-functioning autistics that are probably more intelligent than I am, but people don't understand it because these people aren't able to speak. Another thing, Tourette syndrome, for example. You guys notice sometimes I blink my eyes one or the other. I do this with my wrist a lot at a screen, but the reason for that is because it's an involuntary muscle spasm. I have to do what's called normalized. That means 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I have to hide the fact that I have Tourette syndrome so I don't get treated like I'm on substance. One of the major issues that I always had with Tourette syndrome is I was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome at the age of 7. They want to medicate the crap out of you. Most people, when they think of Tourette syndrome, they think of the movie version where everybody curses. But that's not true. Only 30% of people with Tourette syndrome have verbal or vocal tics. I do have vocal tics. I go, which annoys people. But I don't have the verbal tics. When all of this first started, people were making excuses for my curse words, saying, well, he only does that because he has Tourette syndrome. No, only 5% of those 30% of the people who have vocal tics, only 5% of those have the vocal tics that make them curse. I don't have that. If I curse, it is 100% intentional. But because the eye winky blinky thing, when I say that I have Tourette syndrome, a lot of people are like, well, I don't hear you cussing. Well, that's because I don't need to cuss. It's an involuntary muscle spasm. But it's also something that you can feel coming on, like in my wrist when I do this. Because right here in my wrist, it's almost a cool feeling, I guess. It's something that when I feel it, it takes a lot of energy for me to not do that with my wrist, so that I don't get treated like I'm either on drugs or I'm less than functioning as a human being. The medications that they put me on growing up, they didn't want me to do this. They didn't want me to do this. So they gave me drugs that damaged my liver. They were so dangerous to take that I was taking a liver function test every 2 weeks. Another one, obsessive compulsive disorder. is another diagnosis that people have their own ideas in their heads. They're like, oh, he's got obsessive compulsive disorder. That means he's one of those, if she won't love me, nobody will. Or she's pretty, so I'm going to follow her no matter where she goes. And I'm just going to stalk her to the ends of the earth and so on and so forth. No, that's not even close. When I touch a door, I have to touch it twice. When I take the top off my cigarettes, I have to fold it up nice and neat. First, I take the thing off the top and I roll it up, and then I bend it in half, and then I take the two pieces of paper. The back one, I roll up around it first, and then the front one that's all square and uniform, I use for wrapping around that so that it looks square and uniform when it's done. That's OCD. If you're stalking somebody, that's not OCD, that's stalking. That's a problem that you have in your head. Um, there's also other diagnoses that go along with the mentally ill disorders. A lot of people, they like to use the term mentally retarded. We use this for people who are autistic, people with Down syndrome, and people with cerebral palsy. People with cerebral palsy, they have problems with their cerebrum. They have problems with the connection between their brain and their body. And over time, it starts to deteriorate, and it helps to deteriorate their body as well, including atrophy. They're not stupid by any means. I suppose individually it all depends, because having cerebral palsy does not determine your intelligence. Also, the second most intelligent person on planet Earth right now, the person considered the second most intelligent, is a Russian kid. I guess he's probably an adult by now, but he's got Down syndrome. Um, Somebody who's autistic, that really doesn't go along with the retard thing. The chances of you being completely stupid and having autism are next to nothing. Just because somebody who is autistic cannot speak to you does not mean that they're not trying. A lot of their frustration comes from how you treat them when you get frustrated. And they're not allowed to get frustrated or you punish them. They can't say, please stop. Please, you're not understanding. For me, I can. I'm lucky. Um, some of the other diagnoses that go along with, like for me in specific, Asperger's. But then again, that depends on when you were diagnosed. Because the Asperger's diagnosis is now considered mild autism. But according to Oxford University, everyone is autistic on some level. When we get frustrated, we all react in a certain way. Our stressors make us interact in a certain way. The fight or flight mechanism makes us interact in a certain way. For someone like me, I'm not allowed to have regular fight or flight mechanism. I have to hold it in. When somebody is abusing me, because it is automatically assumed that I'm mentally retarded and off my rocker, if I am attacked, I have to just take it. I can't defend myself, because if I do, I'm the one who gets in trouble. Um, some of the other diagnoses that are commonly associated with autism are, social anxiety disorder, I believe I already covered. But that's mostly because of the way that we're not allowed to be in your society. We are punished more than you are, and the things that you guys get pissed off about being punished about once every 3 to 5 weeks or once every couple of years, we get punished for daily. Um, with me having Tourette syndrome and doing my winky blinky thing, I have been stopped by so many police officers who thought that I was on drugs. I quit taking the medications for Tourette syndrome December 14th of 1997. The reason for this is because I didn't have the money for a liver function test, and I wanted to be able to think again. The medications that they had me on made it so that I wasn't able to think. Also, a lot of the medications that you might associate with somebody who you consider normal, who has everything that they could possibly want in life, and their life still sucks. Yes, there might be a chemical imbalance on them that requires a medication to fix that, but most of the time there is not. Most of the time we are under severe stress, more stress than everybody else, and those medications don't get rid of the stressors. The stressors of some people it's being homeless. For some people it's being in an abusive relationship. For some people it's fear of becoming homeless and losing your children, so you stay in an abusive relationship. And these are all things that I've been speaking out about for years. Many of my friends, when everything happened with Natalie, they were unable to help me because they have families, they have children. Um, Many of the people that I would have previously been able to rescue out of that situation, because of the resources that were being eaten up with mine, I was no longer able to do that. See, justice doesn't just start with Natalie. Justice is for all of us, and it should be distributed equally. Instead of one person is worth justice because of how they look, or because of their gender, or because of the color of their skin, or because of the size of their wallet. But another person is not entitled to the United States Constitution because they have a different skin, or a different gender, or even a different religion than what's commonly accepted or socially accepted. What these people are allowed to do is based on public opinion. If the public opinion is that these people are all on drugs, then you can do whatever you want to them. If public opinion is that drugs will fix it, then by all means they throw drugs at them. But you need to have people who are not only informed and educated, but people who are actually familiar on an individual basis. When we're talking about generalized fixes, like everybody who's got depression should take Prozac, and every single person should take that Prozac, and everybody who takes Prozac is happy. Well, we know that that's not true. We know that one of the side effects of Prozac, one of the possible side effects, is acting on suicidal thoughts. And that's something that many people with Asperger's, many people who are able to vocalize that are autistic, speak about. They are suicidal more than most. It's because they're punished more than most. They're listened to less than most. They have to contend with people's assumptions. Assumptions that they're on drugs. Assumptions that they need drugs. Assumptions that they're stalkers or creepers or whatever it is because they look different or act different or whatever the case may be. The idea that their opinion doesn't matter or that their experience doesn't matter because they're autistic. And that's a difficult thing to explain to most people who aren't familiar with autism. It's also difficult for me to explain to people who aren't familiar with autism that I have to fake normal. I have to fake that I don't do this all the time, or that I don't do this. I have to fake a lot of socialization skills that I don't have. A lot of people say you're overly nice when they meet me in person. Part of that is because I don't want people to take things wrong. I don't want them to reinterpret it in a way that I don't mean. So I try to be as nice as I can until they get to know me. And then once they get to know me, I usually start cracking jokes. They start learning that I'm highly intelligent and quite witty. But then there's that wittiness is something that confuses people as well. Because if there's a large group of people, I can take just a couple of keywords out of a conversation and make a joke out of that will make everybody laugh who's in that conversation. But at the same time, it doesn't occur to them that I've actually missed most of the conversation because too many people were talking at once, or the environment was too loud. When I'm referring to too loud of an environment, it's not always sound. Sometimes it's too much movement. Sometimes it's too many colors. Sometimes it's too much clutter. And that all comes down to the OCD thing as well. So, for me, it's important to educate people, but it's also important for me try to have a sense of normal, which means I have to fake it, which means most of my concentration goes to making sure I'm not being blinky with my eyes or doing this with my wrist, or being monotone, which is something that's commonly associated with autism. My normal tone isn't really all excited. I have to practice that. A lot of my facial expressions. I started practicing facial expressions in front of the mirror when I was about 11 or 12. Um, that's because people are confused by my lack of it. Another thing is people think that we have no emotion. For me, I lost my teeth. Um, they went bad, and I used to smile a lot. I used to be a smiley person. When I told jokes, people could tell I was joking because I was smiling. But when my teeth started going wrong, I didn't want people to see rotten teeth. I didn't want that to be their impression of me. So I stopped smiling. And the worse my teeth got, the less I smiled. And that very much confuses people, especially when I'm making a joke. They'll think that I'm serious. That's also something that is generally considered an autistic trait. So it's almost as if I reverted back to what it is that they want to commonly define. When in reality, we're not allowed to have the same emotions you are. We're not allowed to react the same way that you are because you're more scared of us because we're different. A dictionary definition is more important than you finding out who I am as an individual. You just want to assume that that Prozac is going to fix this. There are some things that there is no fix. And there are some things that hurt more than they harm. When I do this, does that hurt you? Does that break your arm? Does that falsely imprison you? Does that put drugs in your system? Does that abuse your child? No, it doesn't do any of those things. But those medications destroy my body. They destroy my brain. They destroy my liver. They give me pancreatic problems. A lot of people on these medications end up later on in life with diabetes, uh, diabetes-related cancers, pancreatic cancers, um, difficulties processing meats or meat fats, um, and allergic reactions to a lot of different things that they weren't allergic to when they were younger. So it is important to note and important to recognize that these are still human beings. Despite what your bias is, despite what your granddaddy taught you, you cannot beat autism out of somebody. You cannot beat Tourette syndrome out of somebody. The making eye contact thing. Not only am I trying to control my Tourette syndrome and control my eyes doing the winky blinky thing, now I have to try to focus on your eyes and maintain focus when I don't want to look you in the eyes. I want to stare at the floor because then I can actually listen to what you're saying, or stare at the wall, or stare at the ceiling. But it's a power and control issue when you start telling people to look you in the eyes. At that point, you're no longer caring if they're listening or not. You have it in your head that if they're looking in your eyes, that they're listening to you. Most of the time, that's a challenge. People who grew up in the system understand this a little bit better than most people. But when it all comes down to it, it's the bias that we need to break through. The assumption that all autistic people are mentally retarded. The assumption that people with OCD are stalkers. The assumption that people with Tourette syndrome are on drugs. And then the assumption that drugs are going to fix these things that harm nobody. But you are harmful to these people because of your assumptions of these things. So I'm hoping you learned something with this video, and be safe.